What is up, everyone? So I have had several people come to me and ask me to make a how to beat Gigantamax Lapras kind of review thing, kind of like what I did with Durant. People seem to like that one, and I've talked to a lot of people that said that they kind of struggle with dealing with Gigantamax Lapras. You know, we can see from its stats that it has just absolute massive HP, and its defenses are actually really good, especially with its HP stat. Like 80 base defense and 95 base special defense is nothing to like sneeze at when it comes to how bulky this thing gets when it Dynamaxes or Gigantamaxes. Its special attack honestly isn't too bad either. 85 isn't horrible. There are some Pokemon that are kind of prevalent in the metagame that have less than that and still can cause you issues. But most people don't usually invest into special attack. They usually just invest into the defenses and make this thing just a bulky sponge. Some of the most common items on Lapras are Assault Vest, Weakness Policy, a Pinch or Citrus Berry, and Light Clay, because when it uses its Gigantamax move, what is it? Not Renaissance, right? Something with an R. It sets up Aurora Veil, which is basically a Reflect and Light Screen in one move. So depending on what the Lapras is, kind of changes the way that you should approach it, and you'll see what I mean as I go along in this little slideshow. So first we need to look at some of the common partners of Lapras. You get things like Incineroar to help with Intimidate, so help with the physical attackers. You have Fake Out support, Parting Shot support. A really good partner for Lapras because it does so many things to help Lapras stay on the field longer. Togekiss is basically just redirection, keep attacks away from Lapras. Sometimes it even they just say whatever to Lapras, Dynamax Togekiss, and go for it, because that's just what you do with Togekiss. You Dynamax it and you go for it and you crit things. Another popular partner is Dusclops, and this is kind of Mimikyu and Dusclops kind of serve the same role. They're just there to basically set up Trick Room and benefit from the Aurora Veil that Lapras sets up. It depends on the player on how offensive you want to be, but these two basically are just to set up Trick Room, let Lapras move first under Trick Room, so on and so forth. Grimmsnarl's there for Fake Out support, Fake Tears support. Like I said, people don't usually do a lot of investment into special attack with Lapras, so they use Fake Tears to help deal with it. They use Thunder Wave to help deal with some speed control, and then some people like to use Reflect and Light Screen. I'm pretty sure they don't stack. I don't think everybody knows that, but some people do that. It's whatever, And then Indeedee serves kind of the same purpose as Togekiss, except with the added benefit of Psychic Terrain, so there's going to be no Fake Outs and no Fake Tears onto the Lapras, since most Fake Tears Pokemon are Prankster users. So you got to keep in mind these are some common Pokemon. Obviously there's others that aren't on here that you got to keep in mind as you try to prepare for your Lapras matchup and how you're going to deal with it. Some Pokemon that are really good at dealing with Lapras is some strong physical attackers. You'll see that even the strongest of strong physical attackers, such as Durant with a Life Orb, doesn't pick up a one-hit KO on Gigantamax Lapras, and that's what I did all my calcs with, was Gigantamax Lapras, and they're almost all 2-hit KOs except for Conkeldurr, but Conkeldurr just steamrolls it, gets its burn, or a +1, and then it just becomes a monster to defeat all in itself. But Durant's really good because it's faster, really strong physical attacker. It can't get one shot back. Even if the Lapras has a weakness policy, I'm pretty sure a Hydro Pump won't kill Durant when it's Dynamaxed. I think Surfetch'd honestly is one of the better Pokemon to deal with Lapras, silly enough, because of its item Leak. So it can get a crit 50% of the time. And so if you even if you close combat them, it's a 2-hit KO, but if you're critting, then you have a chance, depending on the Lapras build, I just used the one that was in the damage calculator. You have a chance to one-hit KO Lapras, a Gigantamax Lapras, with your crit close combat. Conkeldurr, like I said, it's a 3-hit KO technically by the calculator, but then you get the +1 in attack, and if you're Flame Orb, then you get your Flame Orb the next turn, and then there's just nothing Lapras can do to stop you. And Tyranitar is really good because it has that boost in special defense from the Sandstorm, and then if they hit you with a water type attack, you're going to get your own weakness policy boost if you run weakness policy, and then Lapras is also done for. A lot of these Pokemon are really good at handling Lapras, and I would suggest trying at least one of these if you're having an issue. Special attackers, in my opinion, aren't that great to deal with Lapras. Like I said, Assault Vest is one of Lapras's most common items, so you really lose out on a lot of damage output. But for my calculations, just for the sake of things, I didn't put Assault Vest on the Lapras, but this will give you a good idea of the damage you can get if it does have Assault Vest. So, you know, max 252 Life Orb, max Overgrowth with, you know, Frenzy Plant does a ton of damage to 252 HP, 0 special defense, Calm. It does a ton of damage to Lapras, but still a 2-hit KO. Same thing with Rotom. I only had the Rotom Heat thing on here, so I just threw it on there. Just put the asterisk, like any Rotom will do. But you know, max Lightning, max, you know, only a 2% chance to 2-hit KO, which is kind of crazy. And then Duraludon, I think, might be the better of the special attackers to help deal with Lapras, because it resists its water type attacks, and its ice type attacks are only neutral, whereas like with Venusaur, ice is super effective. These ones are, you know, Rotom Heat, you know, water takes it out, Freeze Dry takes out the others, and so it's not the strongest. You know, it's still a 3-hit KO, but then you get the Grassy Terrain boost and yada yada, so you got to calculate that in as well. So these are some special attackers I would recommend, but like I said before, I think physical attackers are a better way to deal with Lapras than the special attackers. If all, you know, and these are great, right? And you know, but we're talking about doubles here, you know, and the thing about doubles is you have a partner Pokemon, so you want to get some helping hands up on your team to help you deal with this thing. You want to have fake tier support, you know, from your own Grimmsnarl. You want to have fake tier support from your Whimsicott. You know, you can have Sleep Powder from Butterfree to just put it to sleep, don't let it attack. You have fake out support from your Gothitelle. You can trap it in there. If they lead wrong against your team with Lapras, it's trapped. It's not moving. You're good. Just go for it. And then Helping Hand from Indeedee with Follow Me support, Psychic Terrain support. Very, very helpful. You're going to want to make sure that you have some sort of way to either boost your damage output or weaken their defenses. Because if a Helping Hand and a Fake Tears literally turn some of these 2-3 hit, you know, KOs into just straight up OKOs. Like one shot, it's off the field. Don't have to worry about its screens anymore. You know, so make sure you're pairing some of these guys, and there's a lot more than just this, but make sure you're pairing some of these guys with your special or physical attackers to help get some extra damage output on Lapras, so that it doesn't sit on the field and just annoy you the whole time and just cause you problems with its screens and with its boosted special attack from weakness policies or whatever it may be. And then honestly guys, if all else fails, ignore it. Like, if it's weakness policy, they're not going to have a lot in their damage output. It's not going to be doing much, you know, damage to your team, especially if you have your own screens up from something from like Grimmsnarl, or, you know, to weaken its damage output even more. You know, Snarls from Arcanine or whatever it may be. Sometimes you can just ignore the Lapras and just attack the partner slot, and then wait till it stops being a Dynamaxed Pokemon, and when it goes back to being its normal size, it's not going to take attacks nearly as well, and you can just basically clean it up. You know, you got to be smart with it. Sometimes you have to get rid of the Lapras ASAP, but if nothing else, half the time, you know, you can just ignore the Lapras, let it just throw pebbles at your tank, and take care of it later. that would be my suggestions on good ways to approach Lapras. You know, you wanna take the partners into account, figure out ways to deal with it, whether it be physical attackers with helping hands, or whatever, you know, or crits from Surfetched, or, you know, get your guts boost on Conkeldurr and go to town on it. Get some fake tier support. You know, I think fake tiers with Venusaur is going to be awesome, and because you can't get intimidated, and it's going to be faster than Lapras. It does huge damage with its life orb, and so I think fake tiers with that is great. Fake tiers with Duraludon is going to be really good. Whimsicott and Duraludon is a good combo that people have been using a lot recently since it won a big tournament, and Rotom is on the rise as well. It's a great Pokemon, so many different ways you can use it. So think about ways that you can fit some of these Pokemon onto your team if you're struggling with Lapras. I know not everybody does. Some people, like I said, can just ignore it and it's not a huge deal. Some people, it's hard. So it's up to you guys to decide how you maybe want to fit some of these guys onto your team. But beyond that, I think you guys have got it, and I don't think you're gonna have any issues after watching this, and I think you'll have some ideas. And feel free to comment on the video, any other ideas you have or any questions you have about another Pokemon that you'd like me to maybe go over and look at some ways that you can help beat it. I'd be more than happy to do that. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna stop it here. Have a good one.